Afternoon on a Hill by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read by Paul Austin Kelly for LibriVox.org. I will be the gladdest thing under the sun. I will touch 100 flowers and not pick one. I will look at cliffs and clouds with quiet eyes, watch the wind bow down the grass and the grass rise. And when lights begin to show up from the town, I will mark which must be mine, and then start down. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner, located in Liverpool, England, UK. It was many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. With a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her kingdom kinsmen came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea. The wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I see the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the side of the sea. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Birthday by Christina G. Rossetti. Read for LibriVox.org by Melissa Buell. My heart is like a singing bird, whose nest is in a watered shoot. My heart is like an apple tree, whose boughs are bent with thick-set fruit. My heart is like a rainbow shell that paddles in a halcyon sea. My heart is gladder than all these, because my love is come to me. Raise me a dais of silk and down, hang it with a vair and purple dyes, carve it in doves and pomegranates, and peacocks with 100 eyes. Work it in gold and silver grapes, in leaves and silver fleur-de-lis, because the birthday of my life is come, my love is come to me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Boy on the Moor by Annette von Juster-Hulshoff. Translated by Charles Wharton Stork. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. 'Tis an eerie thing o'er the moor to fare, when the eddies of peat smoke justle, when the wraiths of mist whirl here and there, and wind-blown tendrils tussle. When every step starts a hidden spring, and the trodden moss-tufts hiss and sing. 'Tis an eerie thing o'er the moor to fare, when the tangled reed-beds rustle. The child with his primer sets out alone, and speeds as if he were hunted. The wind goes by with a hollow moan. There's a noise in the hedgerow stunted. 'Tis the turf digger's ghost, near by he dwells, and for drink his master's turf he sells. Woo-woo! Comes a sound like a stray cow's groan. The poor boy's courage is daunted. Then stumps loom up beside the ditch, uncannily gnawed the bushes. The boy running on, each nerve a twitch, through a jungle of spear-grass pushes. And where it trickles and crackles apace is the spinner's unholy hiding-place, the home of the cursed spinning witch, who turns her wheel mid the rushes. On, ever on, goes the fearsome rout, in pursuit through that region fenny. At each wild stride the bubbles burst out, and the sounds from beneath are many. Until at length, from the midst of the din, comes the squeak of a spectral violin. That must be the rascally fiddler lout who ran off with the bridal penny. The turf splits open, and from the hole bursts forth an unhappy sighing. Alas, alas for my wretched soul! 'Tis poor damned Margaret crying. The lad he leaps like a wounded deer, and were not his guardian angel near, some digger might find in a marshy knoll, where his little bleached bones were lying. But the ground grows firmer beneath his feet, and there from over the meadow a lamp is flickering, homely sweet. The boy at the edge of the shadow looks back as he pauses to take his breath, and in his glance is the fear of death. 'Twas eerie there mid the sedge and peat. Ah, that was a place to dread, oh! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Have a very spooky Halloween.
The Brook by Théophile Gautier. Read for LibriVox.org by Rowan Puttergill. Near a great water's waste, a brook mid rock and spar came bubbling up in haste, as though to travel far. It sang, "What joy to rise! 'Twas dismal underground. I mirror now the skies. My banks with green abound. Forget-me-nots, how fair! Beseech me from the grass. Wings frolic in the air, and graze me as they pass. I yet shall be, who knows? A river winding down, and greeting as it flows valley and cliff and town. I'll broider with my spray stone bridge and granite quay, and bear great ships away unto the long wide sea." So planned it, babbling by, as water boiling fast within a basin high, to top its brim at last. Cradle by tomb is crossed. Giants are early dead. Scarce born, the brook was lost within a lake's deep bed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Brown Eyes by Matilda Blind. Read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. Oh, brown eyes with long black lashes, young brown eyes, depths of night from which there flashes lightning as of summer skies, beautiful brown eyes. In your veiled mysterious splendor passion lies sleeping, but with sudden tender dreams that fill with vague surmise, beautiful brown eyes. All my soul with yearning shaken asks in sighs, who will see your heart awaken, love's divine sunrise, in those young brown eyes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Chains Invisible by Edith Nesbit. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The lilies in my garden grow, wide meadows ring my garden round. In that green copse wild violets blow, and pale frail cuckoo flowers are found. For all you see and all you hear, the city might be miles away, and yet you feel the city near, through all the quiet of the day. Sweet smells the earth, wet with sweet rain, sweet lilac waves in moonlight pale, and from the wood beyond the lane I hear the hidden nightingale. Though field and wood about me lie, hushed soft in dew and deep delight, yet can I hear the city's sigh through all the silence of the night. For me the skylark builds and sings, for me the vine her garland weaves, the swallow folds her glossy wings to build beneath my cottage eaves. But I can feel the giant near, can hear his slaves by daylight weep, and when at last the night is here, I hear him moaning in his sleep. Oh, for a little space of ground, though not a flower should make it gay, where miles of meadows wrapped me round, and leagues of silence lay. Oh, for a wind-lashed treeless down, a black night and a rising sea, and never a thought of London town to steal the world's delight from me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
City Trees by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read for LibriVox.org by Paul Austen Kelly. The trees along this city street, save for the traffic and the trains, would make a sound as thin and sweet as trees in country lanes. And people standing in their shade out of a shower undoubtedly would hear such music as is made upon a country tree. Oh, little leaves that are so dumb against the shrieking city air, I watch you when the wind has come. I know what sound is there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Cornishman by Stella Benson. Read for LibriVox.org by Colleen McMahon. The Cornishman. At sunset, when the high sea span about the rocks a web of foam, I saw the ghost of a Cornishman come home. I saw the ghost of a Cornishman run from the weariness of war. I heard him laughing as he ran across his unforgotten shore. The great cliff, gilded by the west, received him as an honored guest. The green sea shining in the bay did drown his dreadful yesterday. Come home, you million ghosts. The honest years shall make amends. The sun and moon shall be your hosts, the everlasting hills your friends. And some shall seek their mothers' faces, and some shall run to trysting places, and some to towns, and others yet shall find great forests in their debt. Oh, I would siege the golden coasts of space and climb high heaven's dome, so I might see those million ghosts come home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Cry of the Children by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Read for LibriVox.org by Dessa. Do ye hear the children weeping, O my brothers, ere the sorrow comes with years? They're leaning their young heads against their mothers, and that cannot stop their tears. The young lambs are bleating in the meadows, the young birds are chirping in the nest, the young fawns are playing with the shadows, the young flowers are blowing towards the west. But the young children, O my brothers, they are weeping bitterly. They are weeping in the playtime of the others in the country of the free. Do you question the young children in the sorrow, why their tears are falling so? The old man may weep for his tomorrow, which is lost and long ago. The old tree is leafless in the forest, the old year is ending in the frost. The old wound, if stricken, is the sorest, the old hope is hardest to be lost. But the young children, O my brothers, do you ask them why they stand, weeping sore before the bosoms of their mothers in our happy fatherland? They look up with their pale and sunken faces, and their looks are sad to see, for the man's hoary anguish draws and presses down the cheeks of infancy. Your old earth, they say, is very dreary. Our young feet, they say, are very weak. Few paces have we taken, yet we are weary. Our grave rest is very far to seek. Ask the aged why they weep, and not the children. For the outside earth is cold, and we young ones stand without in our bewildering, and the graves are for the old. True, say the children, it may happen that we die before our time. Little Alice died last year, her grave is shapen like a snowball in the rime. We looked into the pit, prepared to take her, was no room for any work in the close clay. From the sleep wherein she lieth, none will wake her, crying, Get up, little Alice, it is day. If you listen by that grave, in sun and shower, with your ear down, little Alice never cries. Could we see her face, be sure we should not know her, for the smile has time for growing in her eyes. And merry go her moments, lulled and stilled in the shroud by the kirk chime. It is good when it happens, say the children, that we die before our time. Alas, alas, the children, they are seeking death in life as best to have. They are binding up their hearts away from breaking with a cerement from the grave. Go out, children, from the mine and from the city. Sing out, children, as the little thrushes do. Pluck your handfuls of the meadow cowslips pretty. Laugh aloud to feel your fingers let them through. But they answer, Are your cowslips of the meadows like our weeds anear the mine? Leave us quiet in the dark of the cool shadows from your pleasures fair and fine. For oh, say the children, we are weary, and we cannot run or leap. If we cared for any meadows, it were merely to drop down in them and sleep. Our knees tremble sorely in the stooping, we fall upon our faces trying to go, and underneath our heavy eyelids drooping, the reddest flower would look as pale as snow. For all day we drag our burden tiring through the cold dark underground, or all day we drive the wheels of iron in the factories round and round. For all day the wheels are droning, turning, their wind comes in our faces, till our hearts turn, our heads with pulses burning, and the walls turn in their places. Turns the sky and the high window blank and reeling, turns the long light that drops it down the wall, turn the black flies that crawl along the ceiling, all are turning all the day, and we withal. And all day the iron wheels are droning, and sometimes we could pray, O ye wheels, breaking out in a mad moaning, Stop, be silent for today. Aye, be silent, let them hear each other breathing for a moment mouth to mouth. Let them touch each other's hands in a fresh breathing of their tender human youth. Let them feel that this cold metallic motion is not all the life God fashions or reveals. Let them prove their living souls against the notion that they live in you or under you, O wheels. Still, all day the iron wheels go onward, grinding life down from its mark, and the children's souls, which God is calling sunward, spin on blindly in the dark. Now tell the poor young children, O my brothers, to look up to him and pray, so the blessed one who blesseth all the others will bless them another day. They answer, Who is God that he should hear us, while the rushing of the iron wheels is stirred? When we sob aloud, the human creatures near us pass by, hearing not, or answer not a word. And we hear not, for the wheels and their resounding, strangers speaking at the door. Is it likely God with angels shining round him hears our weeping any more? 2 words, indeed, of praying we remember, and at midnight's hour of harm, Our Father, looking upward in the chamber, we say softly for a charm. We know no other words except Our Father, and we think that in some pause of angel song, God may pluck them with a silence sweet together, and hold both within his right hand, which is strong. Our Father, if he heard us, he would surely, for they call him good and mild, answer, smiling down the steep world very purely, Come and rest with me, my child. But no, say the children, weeping faster, he is speechless as a stone, and they tell us of his image is the master who commands us to work on. Go to, say the children, up in heaven, dark wheel-like turning clouds are all we find. Do not mock us. Grief has made us unbelieving. We look up for God, but tears have made us blind. Do you hear the children weeping and disproving, O my brothers, what ye preach? For God's possible is taught by his words loving, and the children doubt of each. And well may the children weep before you, they are weary ere they run. They have never seen the sunshine, nor the glory which is brighter than the sun. They know the grief of man, without its wisdom. They sing in man's despair, without its calm. Are slaves with the liberty of Christendom, are martyrs by the pang without the palm. Are worn as if with age, yet unretrievingly. The harvest of its memories cannot reap. Are orphans of the earthly love and heavenly. Let them weep, let them weep. They look up with their pale and sunken faces, and their look is dread to see, for they mind you of their angels in high places, with eyes turned on deity. How long, they say, how long, O cruel nation, will you stand to move the world on a child's heart, stifle down with a mailed heel its palpitation, and tread onward to your throne amid the mart? Our blood splashes upward, O gold heaper, and your purple shows your path, but the child's sob in the silence curses deeper than the strong man in his wrath. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Desolate House by Annette von Droste-Hushoff, translated by Charles Wharton Stork. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Deep in a dell a woodsman's house has sunk in wild dilapidation. There, buried under vines and boughs, I often sit in contemplation. So dense the tangle that the day through heavy lashes can but glimmer. The rocky cleft is rendered dimmer by overshadowing tree trunks grey. Within that dell I love to hear the flies with their tumultuous humming, and solitary beetles near amid the bushes softly drumming. And when the trickling cliffs of slate the colour from the sunset borrow, methinks an eye all red with sorrow looks down on me disconsolate. The arbor peak with jagged edge wears many a vine shoot long and meagre, and from the moss beneath the hedge creep forth carnations nowise eager. There from the moist cliff overhead the muddy drippings oft bedew them, then creep in lazy streamlets through them to sink within a fennel bed. Along the roof o'ergrown with moss has many a tuft of thatch projected, a spider web is built across the window jamb, else unprotected. The wing of a gleaming dragonfly hangs in it like some petal tender, the body, armed in golden splendour, lies headless on the sill near by. A butterfly sometimes may chance in heedless play to flutter hither, and stop in momentary trance where the narcissus blossoms wither. A dove that through the grove has flown above this dell no more will utter her coo, one can but hear her flutter and see her shadow on the stone. And in the fireplace where the snow each winter down the chimney dashes, a mass of bell-capped toadstools grow on viscid heaps of mouldering ashes. High on a peg above the rest, a hank of rope yarn limply dangles like rotted hair, and in the tangles the swallow built her last year's nest. An old dog collar set with bells swings from a hook by clasp and tether, with rude embroidery that spells Diana worked upon the leather. A flute, too, when the woodsman died, the men who dug his grave forgot here. The dog, his only friend, they shot here and laid her by her master's side. But while I sit in reverie, a field mouse near me shrilly crying, the squirrel barking from his tree, and from the marsh the frogs replying. Then eerie shudders o'er me shoot, as if I caught from out the dingle Diana's bells once more a jingle, and echoes of the dead man's flute. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Happy Halloween!
Don't You See by Catherine Lee Bates, read for LibriVox.org by Dessa. The day was hotter than words can tell, so hot the jellyfish wouldn't gel. The halibut went all to butter, and the catfish had only force to utter a faint sea mew. Though some have doubted, the carp he capered, and the horn pouted. The sardonic sardine had his sly heart's wish when the angelfish fought with the paradise fish. 'Twas a sight gave the bluefish the blues to see, but the seal concealed a wicked glee. The day it went from bad to worse, till the pickerel picked the purse crab's purse. And the crab felt crabbiter yet no doubt, because the oyster wouldn't shell out. The sculpin would sculpt, but hadn't a model, and the cottlefish begged for something to coddle. But to both the dolphin refused its stall, till the whale was obliged to whale them all. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Dream Within a Dream by Edgar Allan Poe. Read for LibriVox.org by Kira Tamaki. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Elegy by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read by Paul Austin Kelly for LibriVox.org. Let them bury your big eyes in the secret earth securely, your thin fingers and your fair, soft, indefinite-colored hair, all of these in some way, surely, from the secret earth shall rise. Not for these I sit and stare, broken and bereft completely. Your young flesh that sat so neatly on your little bones will sweetly blossom in the air. But your voice, never the rushing of a river underground, not the rising of the wind in the trees before the rain, not the woodcock's watery call, not the note the white-throat utters, not the feet of children pushing yellow leaves along the gutters in the blue and bitter fall, shall content my musing mind. For the beauty of that sound, that in no new way at all ever will be heard again. Sweetly, through the sappy stalk of the vigorous weed, holding all it held before, cherished by the faithful sun, on and on eternally shall your altered fluid run. bud and bloom and go to seed. But your singing days are done. But the music of your talk never shall the chemistry of the secret earth restore. All your lovely words are spoken. Once the ivory box is broken, beats the golden bird no more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Elegy on an Australian Schoolboy by Zora Cross. Read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. The nation and the kingdom roll away, like dust before the wind, but over chaos through the pulsing clay broods the eternal mind. The ages write their epics on the air, the stars are as a scroll, where man may read in every glimmer fair the lyric of his soul. Man that is born of woman may not die, the earth is still his home. He has his dwelling under sun and sky, and on the flying foam. The dawn roars in like fire about his feet, and where old gods have sat, the mighty echoes of creation beat his grand Magnificat. 1. Your face, yet not yourself, looks down on me from this old quiet wall. Your eyes are mirrored in eternity, knowing the end and all. Brother, too beautiful in death, most free. The light leaves fall without, the fading flower is dreaming of the bee, and the young children shout. One that is you in clean-limbed ease and grace, frank, tender, loving, wise, shouts with the rest, and in his eager face I see your gentle eyes. His little sunburned feet run round my heart, as yours did long ago. His moods, his dreams, his play are as a part of that we used to know. Beloved, that my little child arms rocked, my child voice sang to sleep, in what lone prison by what far key locked, to the high warders keep, a watch implacable, unyielding still, lest your dreams mix with mine. Are you made one with the eternal will, one with all things divine? Be still, I would not grow so meek and old, in hushed humility, question and probe too ignorant and bold, that ways that sever me from that large restlessness that harbours you, unanchored in God's heart, that breathless sleep there may not be less true, for being false in part. The light is grey on hill and creek and tree, the milking hour is past, the lazy sun that once you loved to see, its last pale gleams has cast. The shadows darken, the day is dead, the bright-eyed day just born, the children sleep, sweet rest fills each young head, and I weep here forlorn. 2. Why should I weep who know not why God wills this constant earthly change, setting his foot in thunder on the hills, to note a cold and strange, poor echo of his dreams? What is my pain, to his remote alone? Perchance you heard his tears like stinging rain, tears that I have not known. Yet answer not, I ask but would not hear, what may end all to know. About me rocks the everlasting fear, while ghostly elf horns blow. How quiet are your lips, your young dear eyes, seeing the all unseen, forgetting and forgotten all that lies in the time tides between. 2 years ago, or is it nearly 3, you clasped me close a while, and laughed with courage as you said to me, dry the grey tears and smile. Your brown books mock what courage I may bring to keep back each hot tear. Your football jersey is a live, warm thing, and warm the cheers I hear. They are your cheers above the hurried team in the green field of sport. School, school, play up, the blithe mates did not dream. How swift the game, how short. O youngster, prefect of a younger crew, mate of 1,000 games, the oval and the pitch are black for you. England her own reclaims. England! For ever on your lips I heard her praise above the rest. What may she be who nestles as a bird in a boy's homing breast? I cannot love her pomp on land and sea, her boastful Saxon ways, her bloody challenge to posterity, her pride of other days. But you who felt in boyish nerve and vein how under Asian sky some valiant kinsman biting on his pain for a queen learned to die. You like a destiny drank England's deeds and heard their tumult roll, till the boy worship that a great land needs burned for her in your soul. And now you sleep, a sleep that wakens not with the glad morning sun. You dream, if dreams may haunt this voiceless spot, where no live deeds are done. You sleep, you dream among old heroes tall, beneath your England's grass, hearing maybe the light brown elm leaves fall as the dawn breezes pass. I have not heard the channel waters roar, nor seen old Thames go by, brown barge and shouting from full shore to shore, her hoarse commercial cry. But I can hear the waters of the creek where we played Nelson's fight, and all the memories of our childhood speak to me this blue still night. England, her name is as a knell to me, and shall be till I die. Outside the gum leaves whisper wistfully, and the faint night winds sigh. Brother, I know how utterly she keeps the souls of her great men, and are there greater than her starlit sweeps, than you by field or fen? What's great or greater, what is more or most, in the mere mood of time? All that was best in her proud island boast you bore her from this clime, who gave her youth and scarred us stars above, high heart and clean frank mind, a boy's first passion for schoolgirl love, strong as the chastening wind. Hear how I make a boast myself of you, who gave so much of this. Love, fatherhood, and dreams the years pursue for England's cold brown kiss. For this our land you held but as a child, that stern motherland, staunch to her faiths and lover reconciled, unto her least command. But I, who ever with convention fought, long scorned the things she told, and, as some wanderer who seeks for naught the elder teacher's hold, rolls up her hearth and home in one brown swag, and travels farther west, so I have journeyed, watching all life lag, in search of worthier rest. In you and me, two children of one home, old dreams and new dreams met, not less to me the broken lights of Rome than our Plantagenet. And while I made my wars on self and soul, you listening heard and knew the great compelling battle tides that roll the marching ages through. I have found peace, and you dwell deep with her, while some great cloud obscures these sundown tracks that wind by road and spur from far paths of yours. The white young moon has sunk behind the trees, the last lone star has fled. The night stone cold dies with its memories, another day gleams red. 3. Your mate, your German mate, you know the one, fair-haired, tender and true, your best beloved came, his lessons done, last night and mourned for you. How often did I hear you, soon and late, speak eagerly his praise, humming a German folk song of a mate one had in other days. For you were but a boy, and he a boy, when war came swooping down, to darken all the memories of joy in city, bush, and town. I would not care to be at school, you said, when this great war is done. Think of the history to learn ahead, dearest, the new-born sun. How often have we watched it coming up behind the green home trees, when dreams were young and at our lips life's cup brimmed with old pleasantries. So it has risen on all men of earth. Alas, to what avail? The airs of history breathe false from birth, the spirit of the tale. Marlborough, Nelson, Blake, and Wellington are written large in fame, but what of every common mother's son who died without a name? No child shall ever thrill at your great deed, your bright heroic act, your yielding all to France at England's need to keep cold freedom's pact. Weeping so oft, I ask myself for you, can this be God's decree? This cold selection of a mortal few to govern destiny? I ask and hear no answer from the night, and none from the clear day. Shall one man lead us to the light of light, or all men find the way? I would not curse your England, wise as slow, just as unjust indeed. I can believe that from her heart may flow the truest human creed. She sounded one high call of liberty that despots heard with dread. I know not what high purpose to be free crowns yet her starry head. Do I but raise a ghost? Is England dead? Lies she in lands forlorn? Shall Kentish orchards never hear the tread of eager life at morn? Is she but memories of old men and sad, since youth has left her side? Has that vast glory you dreamed she had, but perished crucified? England, though all her vaunted heroes rise from Nile to Flanders red, calling you from the long red sunset skies, you shall remain still dead. You shall not touch her woods and flowers again. You shall not sail her Thames. You shall not see in her soft April rain the fairy diadems. She cannot honour you, you do not feel her tears and pity deep, though all her multitude in homage kneel, that cannot break your sleep, that cannot give you back the dew of earth, the light upon the sea, the soft sweet ripple of your child's first mirth, your immortality. In every man there is a great new world, perhaps a glorious race. How can we tell the hero that war hurled to death bore not Christ's face? How can we tell what nobler nations lie now on the fields of France, what unborn masters of creation cry, though murdered white romance? I only know you, brother of my blood, have gone, and many a friend, trampled and broken in the Flanders mud, found youth's most bitter end. God, you are not yet one with the kind dust, before new war horns blow. A sleek-limbed statesmen in their halls break trust, to tell of other woe. I speak as if you heard me, O my dear, from England's far-off shore, as if that land that filled me with such fear held you not evermore. I live too much to feel that death must be, though men make death today. I will not set the blame on deity of murder tunes they play. And yet you have not uttered one poor word, while these harsh thoughts I weave. Silent as God, no murmur have I heard. 'Tis I, not you, who grieve. How should I move that vast eternity, though loud my cries and wild? No more am I regarded than the sea regards a brawling child. 4. There is a football match this sun-sweet day, in the park close at hand, and in their jerseys blue the young lads play, a careless, merry band. The scores are mounting, hear the whistle blow, and see the ball fly by. The boy spectators watch the contest grow, I know the old school cry. Brown ball, you should be black, play is no more, the fields are desolate. The ghostly goal is kicked, and on death's shore the awful umpires wait. The skies grow heavy with their blood and tears, the loud exultant cheer leaps like a curse along the crying years of agony and fear. Let there be war, I heard it in a land where fields were green with corn, down to the curves of brown child-haunted sand, where mirth was ocean born. I sang to men a moving martial song, and asked for grace of gold. Gold for God's soldiers, ah dear God, how long shall the red murder hold? Children were hungry in the city streets, and many poor went by. Children were lying in their winding sheets, dead from their first weak cry. Not for such need could I have gathered gold by any song I made, but for death's armies steadily it rolled, a tribute blindly paid. I thought I sang a soldier's song last night to a great throng, and sad they smiled at me through eyes of still affright, drear ghosts that naught made glad. They sang each ringing chorus eerily, sounds as from distant lands, and some were bloody and waved back to me with dreadful ghastly hands. I thought I danced with many a step and whirl of wild abandoned speed. I loosened from its pains each flowing curl to match my maddened need. Bravo, bravo, I caught a mingled cheer, and flung my kisses far, when over me fell like a sudden fear a single blood-red star. My flimsy draperies were red with fire, they burned and blazed around, as part of that fierce dance of mad desire, flame, fury, rapture, sound. And then the hosts gave me their manly tears, anguish, dream, and thought, mad to the death the women of the years, thus with their bodies wrought. Should I not dread to breed a living man, and give him to the world? Should I not start with my white bosom scan, lest strange beasts lie there curled? We sing, we dance, we urge our bodies on to fight through our strong suns. We slay, and in that murder life has gone, ere one mate season runs. But who considers woman day by day, who pangs to make the race, starving her soul to give a child its play in some green, healthful place? War, it is war for ever all about, her and her tender brood, heartache and fever, death and fear and doubt of each tomorrow's food. Our England, breeder of the noblest race, shall your false pride forget, your base-born mother in some cruel place, where claw and talon yet foster fierce war within her and deceit? The savage lingers late, left, right, new soldiers tramp within her feet to join the ranks of hate. April, and in the massive halls of state new laws of life are framed, new members swell the ranks of party hate, loud-voiced and unashamed. Princes and wars' woes are still their talk, while the young children grow, steeped in old falsehood as the old men walk the wide world to and fro. O brother, in the restless rest of God, today the bells should ring, your birthday greetings where to grass and sod the cosmos petals cling. But we are children in the hands of men who use us for their gain. You never lived to know how sword and pen make but a few men's fame. You have been spared the agonies that come with doubts of the world's best, the knowledge that the wisest oft are dumb, unheeded of the rest. You are most rich who never learned the lie of mankind unto man, who thought all souls kept faith serene and high, with life's most noble plan. And yet I think God cannot dream decay of that we hold most dear. I, small but looking greatly on the day, forget my woman fear. I must not mourn for one who loved life well, the sunshine and the dew, each merry tale his comrades had to tell, and dear books old and new. I must not weep for you who would live again, and know the happy sun, race the white moon and carol with the rain, and down the play tracks run. Run then and laugh and cry and clap your hands, as a blithe, wayward boy. Swim, dive, and gambol, those other lands, what may they give of joy? My God, I may be dreaming in a sleep some thought of yours this day, only I know the tide of life is deep about my young full way. O woman, lover, maker of man's soul, his long-lost paradise, all that in peace or war he dreamed his goal, are his if she be wise. Make of her breast a home of truth and peace, a place of holy joy, till through her mother's sweetness nations cease to ravish and destroy. So she may give the everlasting life earthly hungers for in vain, immortal mother and immortal wife, who heals the whole world's pain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
England to Germany in 1914 by Thomas Hardy. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Located in Liverpool, England, UK. O England, may God punish thee. Is it that Teuton genius flowers, only to breathe malignity upon its friend of earlier hours? We have eaten your bread, you have eaten ours. You have loved your bergs, your pine's green moon, fair Rhine stream and its storied towers. Your shining souls of deathless dowers have won us as they were our own. We have nursed no dreams to shed your blood, we have matched your might not rancorously, save a flushed few whose latent mood you heard and marked as well as we, to tongue not in their country's key. But yet you cry with face aflame, O England, may God punish thee, and foul in onward history and present sight your ancient name. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
An epitaph on my dear and ever-honored mother, Mrs. Dorothy Dudley, who deceased December 27, 1643, and of her age 61, by Anne Bradstreet. Recorded for LibriVox.org by mleigh. Here lies a worthy matron of unspotted life, a loving mother and obedient wife, a friendly neighbor, pitiful to poor, whom oft she fed and clothed with her store, to servants wisely awful, but yet kind, and as they did, so they reward did find, a true instructor of her family, the which she ordered with dexterity. The public meetings ever did frequent, and in her closet constant hours she spent, religious in all her words and ways, preparing still for death till end of days. Of all her children lived to see, then dying left a blessed memory. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ghosts by Marguerite Moores Marshall. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. They call you cold New England, but underneath your snow is blood as red as roses that in your gardens blow. The God that lights your forests with torch of cardinal flower forbids that ever the Puritan escape his crimson hour. The flame that skims brown furrows the scarlet tanager's breast is sign to preacher and plowman of dreams that haunted their rest. When witch and warlock perished by faggot, scaffold, and tree, their tortures slew their bodies, but set their spirits free. In freedom gliding, gloating, through the haunts their children claim, these swollen ghosts of the wicked grow fat on new-wrought shame. The old sweet evil lingers, the demon of uncontrol, and madness creeps and crouches in every haggard soul. And he who held moon revels in Salem forests deep, well loves his hypocrite servants, nor seek to spoil their sleep. They called you cold New England, but surely even your snow is drift not of ice but of ashes, to guard the flames below. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Hackney Coachman, or The Way to Get a Good Fare by Hannah Moore. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner, located in Liverpool, England, UK. I am a bold coachman and drive a good hack, with a coat of 5 capes that quite covers my back. And my wife keeps a sausage shop not many miles from the narrowest alley in all Broad Street, Giles. Though poor, we are honest and very content. We pay as we go for meat, drink, and for rent. To work all the week I am able and willing. I never get drunk, and I waste not a shilling. And while at a tavern my gentleman tarries, the coachman grows richer than he whom he carries. And I'd rather, said I, since it saves me from sin, be the driver without than the toper within. Yet though dram shops I hate, and the dram drinking friend, I'm not quite so good, but I wish I may mend. I repent of my sins, since we all are depraved, for a coachman, I hold, has a soul to be saved. When a riotous multitude fills up a street, and the greater part know not, boys, wherefore they meet, if I see there is mischief, I never go there. Let others get tipsy, so I get my fare. Now to church. If I take some good lady to pray, it grieves me so sore to be kept quite away. So I step within, side, though the sermon's begun, for a slice of the servant is better than none. Then my glasses are whole, and my coach is so neat, I am always the first to be called in the street. And I'm known by the name, 'tis a name rather rare, of the coachman that never asks more than his fare. Though my beasts should be dull, yet I don't use them ill. Though they stumble, I swear not, nor cut them uphill. For I firmly believe there's no charm in an oath that can make a nag trot when to walk he is loath. And though I'm a coachman, I'll freely confess, I beg of my Maker my labours to bless. I praise him each morning and pray every night, and 'tis this makes my heart feel so cheerful and light. When I drive to his funeral, I care not for drink. That is not the moment to guzzle, but think. And I wish I could add both of coachman and master, that both of us strove to amend a bit faster. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Hallowe'en by Joel Benton. Read for LibriVox.org by Colleen McMahon. Hallowe'en. Pixie, kobold, elf, and sprite, all are on their rounds tonight. In the wan moon's silver ray thrives their helter-skelter play. Fond of cellar, barn, or stack, true unto the almanac, they present to credulous eyes strange hobgoblin mysteries. Cabbage stumps, straws wet with dew, apple skins and chestnuts too, and a mirror for some lass show what wonders come to pass. Doors they move and gates they hide, mischiefs that on moonbeams ride, are their deeds, and by their spells love records its oracles. Don't we all, of long ago, by the ruddy fireplace glow, in the kitchen and the hall, those queer, coof-like pranks recall? Eerie shadows were they then, but tonight they come again. Were we once more but 16, precious would be Hallowe'en. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Her Lips Are Copper Wire by Jean Toomer. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. Whisper of yellow globes gleaming on lamp posts that sway like bootleg liquor drinkers in the fog, and let your breath be moist against me like bright beads on yellow globes. Telephone the powerhouse that the main wires are insulate. Her words play softly up and down dewy corridors of billboards. Then with your tongue remove the tape and press your lips to mine till they are incandescent. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Home by Anne Bronte, read for LibriVox.org by Dessa. How brightly glistening in the sun the woodland ivy plays, while yonder beeches from their barks reflect his silver rays. That sun surveys a lovely scene from softly smiling skies, and widely through unnumbered trees the wind of winter sighs. Now loud it thunders over my head, and now in distance dies, but give me back my barren hills where colder breezes rise, where scarce the scattered, stunted trees can yield an answering swell, but where a wilderness of heath returns the sound as well. For yonder garden, fair and wide, with groves of evergreen, long winding walks and borders trim, and velvet lawns between, restore to me that little spot, with grey walls compassed round, where knotted grass neglected lies, and weeds usurp the ground. Though all around this mansion high invites the foot to roam, and though the halls are fair within, oh, give me back my home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Hunt by Harriet Prescott Spofford. Read for LibriVox.org by Andrew Dixon. Wild stream the clouds, and the fresh wind is singing. Red is the dawn, and the world white with rime. Music, oh music, the hunter's horn ringing. Over the hilltop the mounted men climb. Flashing of scarlet, and glitter and jingle, the deep bay, the rhythm of hoof and of cry. Echo, oh echo, the winds rush and mingle. Halloo, view halloo, and the hunt has swept by. Stay, all the morning is hushed and is sober. Bare is the hilltop, and sad as its wont. Out of the ghost of a long dead October, blown as the dust blows, the ghost of the hunt. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Hymn to the Evening by Phyllis Wheatley. Read for LibriVox.org by Evan Mantler. Soon as the sun forsook the eastern main, the pealing thunder shook the heavenly plain. Majestic grandeur from the zephyr's wing exhales the incense of the blooming spring. Soft purl the streams, the birds renew their notes, and through the air their mingled music floats. Through all the heavens what beauteous dyes are spread, but the west glories in the deepest red. So may our breasts with every virtue glow, the living temples of our God below, filled with the praise of Him who gives the light, and draws the sable curtains of the night. Let placid slumbers soothe each weary mind, at morn to wake more heavenly, more refined. So shall the labors of the day begin, more pure, more guarded from the snares of sin. Night's leaden scepter seals my drowsy eyes, then cease my song, till fair aurora rise. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Infant Joy by William Blake. Read for LibriVox.org by Ike Sherr. I have no name. I am but 2 days old. What shall I call thee? I happy am. Joy is my name. Sweet Joy before thee. Pretty Joy, sweet Joy, but 2 days old. Sweet Joy I call thee. Thou dost smile, I sing the while. Sweet Joy before thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Journey by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read for LibriVox.org by EliseDee. Ah, could I lay me down in this long grass and close my eyes and let the quiet wind blow over me? I am so tired of passing pleasant places. All my life, following care along the dusty road, have I looked back at loveliness and sighed. Yet at my hand an unrelenting hand tugged ever, and I passed. All my life long, over my shoulder, I have looked at peace, and now I fain would lie in this long grass and close my eyes. Yet onward! Catbirds call through the long afternoon, and creaks at dusk are guttural. Whippoorwills wake and cry, drawing the twilight close about their throats. Only my heart makes answer. Eager vines go up the rocks and wait, flushed apple trees pause in their dance and break the ring for me, and bayberry, that through sweet bevy's thread of round-faced roses, pink and petulant, look back and beckon ere they disappear. Only my heart responds. Yet, my path is sweet on either side, all through the dragging day, sharp underfoot and hot, and like dead mist the dry dust hangs. But far, oh far as passionate eye can reach, and long, long as rapturous eye can cling, the world is mine. Blue hill, still silver lake, broad field, bright flower, and long white road, a gateless garden and an open path, my feet to follow, and my heart to hold. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Let It Be Forgotten by Sarah Tisdale. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. Let it be forgotten as a flower is forgotten, forgotten as a fire that once was singing gold. Let it be forgotten forever and ever. Time is a kind friend. He will make us old. If anyone asks, say it was forgotten long and long ago. as a flower, as a fire, as a hushed footfall in a long forgotten snow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Lily and the Rose by William Cowper. Read for LibriVox.org by Ike Sherr. The nymph must lose her female friend if more admired than she. But where will fierce contention end if flowers can disagree? Within the garden's peaceful scene appeared two lovely foes, aspiring to the rank of queen, the lily and the rose. The rose soon reddened into rage, and swelling with disdain, appealed to many a poet's page to prove her right to reign. The lily's height bespoke command, a fair imperial flower. She seemed designed for Flora's hand, the sceptre of her power. The civil bickering and debate the goddess chanced to hear, and flew to save, ere yet too late, the pride of the parterre. Yours is, she said, the nobler hue, and yours the statelier mien, and till a third surpasses you, let each be deemed a queen. Thus soothed and reconciled, each seeks the fairest British fair. The seat of empire is her cheeks. They reign united there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
London Thoroughfare, 2 a.m. by Amy Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by EliseDee. They have watered the street. It shines in the glare of lamps, cold white lamps, and lies like a slow-moving river barred with silver and black. Cabs go down it, one, and then another. Between them I hear the shuffling of feet. Tramps doze on the window ledges. Night walkers pass along the sidewalks. The city is squalid and sinister, with the silver-barred street in the mist, slow-moving, a river leading nowhere. Opposite my window, the moon cuts clear and round through the plum-colored night. She cannot light the city, it is too bright. It has white lamps and glitters coldly. I stand in the window and watch the moon. She is thin and lusterless, but I love her. I know the moon, and this is an alien city. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Make Me My Wig by Thomas Wright, 1711 to 1786. Read for LibriVox.org. Mr. Joshua Craven, I wish your pate shaven, and over your shoulders a twig. I must have this ado to send to and fro, and yet you won't make me my wig. How long with a vengeance must I dance attendance on you, you dilatory prig, and run in the cold with my head bare and bald, and yet you won't make me my wig? Would you send me my bob to cover my knob? Why then I might strut and look big. Now I'm forced to be squat and keep on my hat, and all for the want of my wig. Don't you know, bless your life, I've got a young wife? And did you but hear her sweet voice? When she sees I am bald, she thinks I'm grown old, and is fit to repent of her choice. I vow and protest, if you don't do your best, and send it by Saturday night, I'll surely resent it, and make you repent it, as sure as my name's Thomas Wright. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Never May the Fruit Be Plucked by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. Never, never may the fruit be plucked from the bough and gathered into barrels. He that would eat of love must eat it where it hangs, though the branches bend like reeds, though the ripe fruit splash in the grass or wrinkle on the tree. He that would eat of love may bear away with him only what his belly can hold, nothing in the apron, nothing in the pockets. Never, never may the fruit be gathered from the bough and harvested in barrels. The winter of love is a cellar of empty bins and an orchard soft with rot. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
New College Gardens, Oxford, by Edith Nesbit. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. On this old lawn, where lost hours pass, across the shadows, dark with dew, where autumn, on the thick sweet grass, has laid a weary leaf or two, when the young morning, keenly sweet, breathes secrets to the silent air. Happy is he whose lingering feet may wander lonely there. The enchantment of the dreaming limes, the magic of the quiet hours, breathe unheard tales of other times and other destinies than ours. The feet that long ago walked here, still noiseless walk beside our feet, poor ghosts who found this garden dear and found the morning sweet. Age weeps that it no more may hold the heartache that youth clasps so close. Pain finely shaped in pleasure's mold, a thorn deep hidden in a rose. Here is the immortal thorny rose that may in no new garden grow. Its root is in the hearts of those who walked here long ago. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On the Tower by Annette von Droste-Hushoff. Translated by Charles Wharton Stork. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. I stand aloft on the balcony, the starlings around me crying, and let like Maenad my hair stream free to the storm o'er the ramparts flying. Oh, headlong wind, on this narrow ledge, I would I could try thy muscle, and, breast to breast, 2 steps from the edge, fight it out in a deadly tussle. Beneath me I see, like hounds at play, how billow on billow dashes. Yea, tossing aloft the glittering spray, the fierce throng hisses and clashes. Oh, might I leap into the raging flood, and urge on the pack to harry the hidden glades of the coral wood, for the walrus, a worthy quarry. From yonder mast a flag streams out, as bold as a royal pennant. I can watch the good ship lunge about, from this tower of which I am tenant. But, oh, might I be in the battling ship, might I seize the rudder and steer her, how gay o'er the foaming reef we'd slip, like the seagulls circling near her! Were I a hunter wandering free, or a soldier in some sort of fashion, or if I at least a man might be, the heavens would grant me my passion. But now I must sit as fine and still as a child in its best of dresses, and only in secret may have my will, and give to the wind my tresses. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On Thomson's Seasons by Anonymous. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. On Thomson's Seasons. Lo! Thomson deigns to grace the bower I made, and dwell a tuneful tenant of my shade. Hail Nature's poet, whom she taught alone to sing her works, in numbers like her own, sweet as the thrush that warbles in the vale, and soft as Philomela's tender tale. She lent her pencil too of wondrous power to catch the rainbow or to form the flower of many mingling hues, and smiling said, but first with laurel crowned her favourite's head, these beauteous children, though so fair they shine, fade in my seasons, let them live in thine. And live they shall, the charm of every eye, till nature sickens and the seasons die. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Other Side of a Mirror by Mary Coleridge, read for LibriVox.org by Kathleen Bond. I sat before my glass one day and conjured up a vision bare. Unlike the aspects glad and gay that erst were found reflected there, the vision of a woman wild with more than womanly despair. Her hair stood back on either side, a face bereft of loveliness. It had no envy now to hide what once no man on earth could guess. It formed the thorny aureola of hard, unsanctified distress. Her lips were open. Not a sound came through the parted lines of red. Whatever it was, the hideous wound in silence and in secret bled. No sigh relieved her speechless woe. She had no voice to speak her dread. And in her lurid eyes there shone the dying flame of life's desire, made mad because its hope was gone, and kindled at the leaping fire of jealousy and fierce revenge and strength that could not change nor tire. Shade of a shadow in the glass, oh, set the crystal surface free. Pass, as the fairer visions pass, not ever more to return, to be the ghost of a distracted hour, that hear me whisper, I am she. End of recording. This poem is in the public domain.
Patterns by Amy Lovell. Read for LibriVox.org by Maria Murabe. I walk down the garden paths, and all the daffodils are blowing, and the bright blue squills. I walk down the patterned garden paths in my stiff brocaded gown. With my powdered hair and jeweled fan, I too am a rare pattern, as I wander down the garden paths. My dress is richly figured, and the train makes a pink and silver stain on the gravel and the thrift of the borders. Just a plate of current fashion, tripping by in high-heeled, ribboned shoes. Not a softness anywhere about me, only whalebone and brocade. And I sink on a seat in the shade of a lime tree, for my passion wars against the stiff brocade. The daffodils and squills flutter in the breeze as they please, and I weep, for the lime tree is in blossom, and one small flower has dropped upon my bosom. And the plashing of water drops in the marble fountain comes down the garden paths. The dripping never stops. Underneath my stiffened gown is the softness of a woman bathing in a marble basin, a basin in the midst of hedges grown so thick she cannot see her lover hiding, but she guesses he is near, and the sliding of the water seems the stroking of a dear hand upon her. What is summer in a fine brocaded gown? I should like to see it lying in a heap upon the ground, all the pink and silver crumpled up on the ground. I would be the pink and silver as I ran along the paths, and he would stumble after, bewildered by my laughter. I should see the sun flashing from his sword hilt and the buckles on his shoes. I would choose to lead him in a maze along the patterned paths, a bright and laughing maze for my heavy-booted lover, till he caught me in the shade, and the buttons on his waistcoat bruised my body as he clasped me, aching, melting, unafraid. with the shadows of the leaves and the sundrops and the plopping of the water drops, all about us in the open afternoon. I am very like to swoon with the weight of this brocade, for the sun sifts through the shade. Underneath the fallen blossom in my bosom is a letter I have hid. It was brought to me this morning by a rider from the Duke. Madam, we regret to inform you that Lord Hartwell died in action Thursday se'nnight. As I read it in the white morning sunlight, the letters squirmed like snakes. Any answer, madam? Said my footman. No, I told him. See that the messenger takes some refreshment. No, no answer. And I walked into the garden, up and down the patterned paths, in my stiff, correct brocade. The blue and yellow flowers stood up proudly in the sun, each one. I stood upright too, held rigid to the pattern by the stiffness of my gown. Up and down I walked, up and down. In a month he would have been my husband. In a month, here, underneath the slime, we would have broke the pattern. He for me, and I for him, he as colonel, I as lady, on the shady seat. He had a whim that sunlight carried blessing, and I answered, it shall be as you have said. Now he is dead. In summer and in winter I shall walk, up and down, the patterned garden paths in my stiff brocaded gown. The squills and daffodils will give place to pillared roses, and to asters, and to snow. I shall go up and down in my gown, gorgeously arrayed, boned and stayed, and the softness of my body will be guarded from embrace by each button, hook, and lace. For the man who should lose me is dead, fighting with the Duke in Flanders in a pattern called a war. Christ, what are patterns for? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Poetesses by Catherine Hale. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. You who loved all lovely things, and wrought in jeweled lines, you have gone your gracious ways that are patterned in dim stones, of perfumed, faint-hued words. You were things so feminine that even of war you sang in tender notes. But now another one has come, who is herself at war. Her songs are keen and glittering, for she has felt the magic fire that you did long ago. But now the fire has burned clean through and forged a sword of steel. Swinging swords are women's songs that gleam as hard as diamonds do, that mean to cut tradition. And yet those jeweled lines, strangely the ancient magic works, strangely the same fire lurks and burns imprisoned there in your dim opaled words, that run like paths in heaven paved in mosaic of sweet stones, and make a scented highway for our feet, who wield these swinging swords. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Politeness by Elizabeth Turner. Read for LibriVox.org by Ike Sherr. Good little boys should never say, I will, and give me these. Oh no, that never is the way. But, mother, if you please. And if you please to Sister Anne, good boys to say already. And yes, sir, to a gentleman, and yes, ma'am, to a lady. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
President Lincoln's Proclamation of Freedom by Francis E. W. Harper. Read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. It shall flash through the coming ages, it shall light the distant years, and eyes now dim with sorrow shall be clearer through their tears. It shall flush the mountain ranges, and the valleys shall grow bright. It shall bathe the hills in radiance, and crown their brows with light. It shall flood with golden splendor all the huts of Caroline, and the sun-kissed brow of labor will lustre new shall shine. It shall gild the gloomy prison darkened by the nation's crime, where the dumb and patient millions wait the better coming time. By the light that gilds their prison, they shall seize its mouldering key, and the bolts and bars shall vibrate with the triumphs of the free. Like the dim and ancient chaos shrinking from the dawn of light, oppression grim and hoary shall cower at the sight, and her spawn of lies and malice shall grovel in the dust, while joy shall thrill the bosoms of the merciful and just. Though the morning seem to linger o'er the hilltops far away, now the shadows bear the promise of a quickly coming day. Soon the mists and murky shadows shall be fringed with crimson light, and the glorious dawn of freedom break refulgent on the sight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Read for LibriVox.org by Justin Wilson. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here, forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the strange and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven. Ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvel this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, Doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, that God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell the soul, with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes of all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Refusal by Edith Nesbit. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Mine is a palace fair to see, all hung with gold and silver things. It is more glorious than a king's, and crowned queens might envy me. Ah no, I will not let you in. Stay rather at the gates and weep for all the splendor that I keep, the treasures that you cannot win. while you desire and I refuse, for both the palace still is here. Its turrets gold, its silver gear, are yours to wish for, mine to use. But if I let you in, I know the spell would break, the palace fade, and we stand trembling and afraid, lost in the dark where chill winds blow.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Seesaw by Mrs. W. K. Clifford. Read for LibriVox.org by Roma Singh. Get into the boat and away to the west. Seesaw, seesaw. For they've cut down the tree with the poor linnet's nest. Seesaw, seesaw. The bulrushes nod and the water lilies sigh. Seesaw, seesaw. And all of us know the sad reason why. Seesaw, seesaw. For oh, the tree's cut down, and every one of its leaves are brown. And in the field the children play, but the little linnet has flown away. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Serenade to His Sleeping Mistress by Ali Ben Abdalghadi of Cordova. Translated from the Arabic by J.D. Carlyle. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Serenade to His Sleeping Mistress. Sure Harod's potent spells were breathed upon that magic sword, thine eye. For if it wounds us thus while sheathed, when drawn, 'tis vain its edge to fly. How canst thou doom me, cruel fair, plunged in the hell of scorn to groan? No idol ever this heart could share. This heart has worshipped thee alone. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Sigh by Harriet Prescott Spofford. Read for LibriVox.org by Andrew Dixon. It was nothing but a rose I gave her, nothing but a rose. Any wind might rob of half its savour, any wind that blows. When she took it from my trembling fingers, with a hand as chill, ah, the flying touch upon them lingers, stays and thrills them still. Withered, faded, pressed between the pages, crumpled fold upon fold. Once it lay upon her breast and ages cannot make it old. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song by Sophie M. Allman Hensley. Read for LibriVox by Anamika. Low laughed the columbine, trembled her petals fine, as the breeze blew. In her dove heart there stirred murmurs the dull bee heard, and love, life's wild white bird, strayed away she knew. Resting her lilac cheek, gently in aspect meek, on the grey stone, the morning glory free welcomed the yellow bee, heard the near rolling sea murmur and moan. Calm lay the tawny sand, stretching a long wet hand to the fair wave, swift to her warm waiting breast, longing to be possessed, leaps 'neath his billowy crest, her lover brave. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 43 of Sonnets from the Portuguese by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight, I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs, and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God choose I shall but love thee better after death. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
S.S. Osgood by Anna Cora Mowat, read for LibriVox.org by Kelly Taylor, October 13th, 2020. Oh, blessings on the limner's art, when heart and hearth are lone, and beaming eye and sunny smile, and charms and graces flown. Beneath his fingers' magic touch, the loved one lives anew, and robe in early beauty dawns upon the mourner's view, and cherished tones, long hushed in death, come stealing on the ear, and heaven itself gives spirits back, too bright to linger here. Then while sweet memories fill the breast, oh, kiss the limner's wand, revere the power that soothes the soul, and bless his gifted hand. End of poem. This reading is in the public domain.
The Storm by Catherine Mansfield, read for LibriVox.org by Maria Murabe. I ran to the forest for shelter. Breathless, half sobbing, I put my arms around a tree, pillowed my head against the rough bark. "Protect me," I said. "I am a lost child." But the tree showered silver drops on my face and hair. A wind sprang up from the ends of the earth. It lashed the forest together. A huge green wave thundered and burst over my head. I prayed, implored, "Please take care of me." But the wind pulled at my cloak, and the rain beat upon me. Little rivers tore up the ground and swamped the bushes. A frenzy possessed the earth. I felt that the earth was drowning in a bubbling cavern of space. I, alone, smaller than the smallest fly, was alive and terrified. Then, for what reason I know not, I became triumphant. "Well, kill me!" I cried and ran out into the open. But the storm ceased. The sun spread his wings and floated serene in the silver pool of the sky. I put my hands over my face. I was blushing, and the trees swung together and delicately laughed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Sunken City by Wilhelm Müller, 1794 to 1827, translated from the German by James Clarence Magnan. Read for LibriVox.org. Hark! The faint bells of the sunken city peal once more their wanton evening chime. From the deep abysses float a ditty, wild and wondrous, of the olden time. Temples, towers, and domes of many stories there lie buried in an ocean grave, undescried, save when their golden glories gleam at sunset through the lighted wave. And the mariner who has seen them glisten, in whose ears those magic bells do sound, night by night bides there to watch and listen, though death lurks behind each dark rock round. So the bells of memory's wonder city peal for me their old melodious chime. So my heart pours forth a changeful ditty, sad and pleasant from the bygone time. Domes and towers and castles, fancy builded, there lie lost to daylight's garish beams. There lie hidden till unveiled and gilded, glory gilded, by my nightly dreams. And then hear I music sweet upknelling from many a well-known phantom band, and through tears can see my natural dwelling, far off in the spirit's luminous land. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Three Quatrains by Lila Cabot Perry. Read for LibriVox by Anamika. The Cup. She said, "Lift high the cup." Of her arm's weariness she gave no sign, but smiling raised it up, that none might see or guess it held no wine. Forgive me not. Forgive me not! Hate me and I shall know. Some of love's fire still burns within your breast. Forgiveness finds its home in hearts at rest. On dead volcanoes only lies the snow. The Rose. One deep red rose I dropped into his grave, so small a thing to give so great a friend, yet well he knew it was my heart I gave, and must fare on without it to the end. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Tired Mothers by May Riley Smith. Read for LibriVox.org. A little elbow leans upon your knee, your tired knee that has so much to bear. A child's dear eyes are looking lovingly from underneath a thatch of tangled hair. Perhaps you do not heed the velvet touch of warm, moist fingers folding yours so tight. You do not prize this blessing overmuch. You almost are too tired to pray tonight. But it is blessedness. A year ago I did not see it as I do today. We are so dull and thankless and too slow to catch the sunshine till it slips away. And now it seems surpassing strange to me that while I wore the badge of motherhood, I did not kiss more oft and tenderly the little child that brought me only good. And if some night when you sit down to rest, you miss this elbow from your tired knee, this restless curling head from off your breast, this lisping tongue that chatters constantly, if from your own the dimpled hands had slipped, and ne'er would nestle in your palm again, if the white feet into their grave had tripped, I could not blame you for your heartache then. I wonder so that mothers ever fret at little children clinging to their gown, or that the footprints when the days are wet are ever black enough to make them frown. If I could find a little muddy boot, or cap, or jacket on my chamber floor, if I could kiss a rosy restless foot and hear its patter in my home once more, if I could mend a broken cart today, tomorrow make a kite to reach the sky, there is no woman in God's world could say she was more blissfully content than I. But ah, the dainty pillow next my own is never rumbled by a shining head. My singing birdling from its nest is flown. The little boy I used to kiss is dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Lady on the Death of Her Husband by Phyllis Wheatley. Recorded for LibriVox.org by mleigh. Grim monarch, see deprived of vital breath, a young physician in the dust of death. Dost thou go on incessant to destroy our griefs, to double and lay waste our joy? Enough thou never yet wast known to say, though millions die, the vassals of thy sway. Nor youth, nor science, not the ties of love, nor aught on earth thy flinty heart can move. The friend, the spouse from his dire darts to save, in vain we ask the sovereign of the grave. Fair mourner, there see thy loved Leonard laid, and o'er him spread the deep impervious shade. Closed are his eyes, and heavy fetters keep his senses bound in never-waking sleep, till time shall cease, till many a starry world shall fall from heaven in dire confusion hurled, till nature in her final wreck shall lie, and her last groan shall rend the azure sky. Not till then his active soul shall claim his body a divine immortal frame. But see the softly stealing tears apace, pursue each other down the mourner's face. But cease thy tears, bid every sigh depart, and cast the load of anguish from thine heart. From the cold shell of his great soul arise, and look beyond, thou native of the skies. There fix thy view, where fleeter than the wind thy Leonard mounts and leaves the earth behind. Thyself prepare to pass the veil of night, to join forever on the hills of light. To thine embrace this joyful spirit moves, to thee the partner of his earthly loves. He welcomes thee to pleasures more refined, and better suited to the mortal mind. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To Be or Not to Be by William Blake, 1757 to 1827, from An Island in the Moon. Read for LibriVox.org. To be or not to be of great capacity, like Sir Isaac Newton, or Locke, or Dr. South, or Sherlock upon death, I'd rather be Sutton. For he did build a house for aged men and youth, with walls of brick and stone. He furnished it within with whatever he could win, and all his own. He drew out of the stocks his money in a box, and sent his servant to Green the bricklayer, and to the carpenter, he was so fervent. The chimneys were 80, the windows many more, and for convenience he sinks and gutters made, and all the way he paved to hinder pestilence. Was not this a good man, whose life was but a span, whose name was Sutton, as Locke, or Dr. South, or Sherlock upon death, or Sir Isaac Newton? Note: Thomas Sutton, founder of the Charter House, 1532 to 1611. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To Maecenas by Phyllis Wheatley. Read for LibriVox.org by Evan Mantler. Maecenas, you beneath the myrtle's shade, read o'er what poets sung and shepherds played. What felt those poets, but you feel the same? Does not your soul possess the sacred flame? Their noble strains your equal genius shares, in softer language and diviner airs. While Homer paints, lo, circumfused in air, celestial gods in mortal forms appear. Swift as they move, hear each recess rebound. Heaven quakes, earth trembles, and the shores resound. Great sire of verse, before my mortal eyes, the lightnings blaze across the vaulted skies. And, as the thunder shakes the heavenly plains, a deep-felt horror thrills through all my veins. When gentler strains demand thy graceful song, the lengthening line moves languishing along. When great Patroclus courts Achilles' aid, the grateful tribute of my tears is paid. Prone on the shore he feels the pangs of love, and stern Pylades' tenderest passions move. Great Maro's strain in heavenly numbers flows, the 9 inspire, and all the bosom glows. Oh, could I rival thine and Virgil's page, or claim the Muses with the Mantuan's sage! Soon the same beauties should my mind adorn, and the same ardors in my soul should burn. Then should my song in bolder notes arise, and all my numbers pleasingly surprise. But here I sit and mourn a grovelling mind, that fain would mount and ride upon the wind. Not you, my friend, these plaintive strains become, not you whose bosom is the muses' home. When they from towering Helicon retire, they fan in you the bright immortal fire. But I, less happy, cannot raise the song. The faltering music dies upon my tongue. The happier Terence all the choir inspired, his soul replenished, and his bosom fired. But say, ye muses, why this partial grace to one alone of Afric's sable race? From age to age, transmitting thus his name, with the finest glory in the rolls of fame. Thy virtues, great Maecenas, shall be sung, in praise of him from whom those virtues sprung. While blooming wreaths around thy temples spread, I'll snatch a laurel from thine honored head, while you indulgent smile upon the deed. As long as Thames in streams majestic flows, or Naiads in their oozy beds repose, while Phoebus reigns above the starry train, while bright Aurora purples o'er the main, so long, great Sir, the Muse thy praise shall sing, so long thy praise shall make Parnassus ring. Then grant, Maecenas, thy paternal rays, hear me propitious, and defend my lays. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To My Brothers by John Keats. Read for LibriVox.org by Kira Tamagi. Small, busy flames play through the fresh-laid coals, and their faint cracklings o'er our silence creep, like whispers of the household gods that keep a gentle empire o'er fraternal souls. And while for rhymes I search around the poles, your eyes are fixed, as in poetic sleep, upon the lore so voluble and deep, that at fall of night our care condoles. This is your birthday, Tom, and I rejoice that thus it passes smoothly, quietly. Many such eyes of gently whispering noise may we together pass, and calmly try what are this world's true joys, ere the great voice from its fair face shall bid our spirits fly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To My Dear and Loving Husband by Anne Bradstreet. Read for LibriVox.org by Melissa Buell. If ever two were one, then surely we. If ever man were loved by wife, then thee. If ever wife were happy in a man, compare with me, ye women, if you can. I prize thy love more than whole mines of gold, or all the riches that the east doth hold. My love is such that rivers cannot quench, nor aught but love from thee give recompense. Thy love is such I can no way repay. The heavens reward thee manifold, I pray. Then while we live, in love let's so persevere, that when we live no more, we may live ever. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To the Nightingale by William Drummond. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. To the Nightingale. Sweet bird that sings away the early hours of winters past, or coming void of care, well pleased with delights which present are, fair seasons, budding sprays, sweet smelling flowers, to rocks, to springs, to rills from leafy bowers, thou thy Creator's goodness dost declare, and what dear gifts on thee he did not spare, a stain to human sense in sin that lowers. What soul can be so sick, which by thy songs, attired in sweetness, sweetly is not driven quite to forget earth's turmoils, spites and wrongs, and lift a reverent eye and thought to heaven? Sweet artless songster, thou my mind dost raise To airs of spheres, yes, and to angels' lays. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Transfiguration by Louisa May Alcott. Read for LibriVox.org by Melissa Buell. Mysterious death, who in a single hour life's gold can so refine, and by thy art divine change mortal weakness to immortal power. Bending beneath the weight of 80 years, spent with the noble strife of a victorious life, we watched her fading heavenward through our tears. But ere the sense of loss our hearts had wrung, a miracle was wrought, and swift as happy thought, she lived again, brave, beautiful, and young. Age, pain, and sorrow dropped the veils they wore, and showed the tender eyes of angels in disguise, whose principle so patiently she bore. The last years brought their harvest rich and fair, while memory and love together fondly wove a golden garland for the silver hair. How could we mourn like those who are bereft, when every pang of grief found balm for its relief, and counting up the treasures she had left? Faith that withstood the shocks of toil and time, hope that defied despair, patience that conquered care, and loyalty whose courage was sublime. The great deep heart that was a home for all, just, eloquent, and strong, in protest against wrong, wide charity that knew no sin, no fall, the Spartan spirit that made life so grand, mating poor daily needs with high heroic deeds, that wrested happiness from hate hard hand. We thought to weep, but sing for joy instead, full of the grateful peace that follows her release, for nothing but the weary dust lies dead. O noble woman, never more a queen than in the laying down of scepter and of crown, to win a greater kingdom yet unseen, teaching us how to seek the highest goal, to earn the true success, to live, to love, to bless, and make death proud to take a royal soul. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Two Women Sing by Stella Benson. Read for LibriVox.org by Colleen McMahon. Two Women Sing. First woman. O woman, 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 shall I to woman be a friend? I deal with man, and when I can, reclaim with interest all I lend. Who but a witless gambler plays for farthing stakes these golden days? No, woman, woman, woman must only play the game that pays. Second woman. O woman, 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 tomorrow woman shall awake. She shall arise and realize the goodly value of her stake, and she shall lend her loan and claim her rightful interest on the same. So woman, woman, woman shall learn at last the paying game. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Venus Transients by Amy Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by EliseDee. Tell me, was Venus more beautiful than you are when she topped the crinkled waves drifting shoreward on her painted shell? Was Botticelli's vision fairer than mine, and were the painted rosebuds he tossed his lady of better worth than the words I blow about you to cover your too great loveliness as with a gauze of misted silver? For me, you stand poised in the blue and buoyant air, cinctured by bright winds, treading the sunlight, and the waves which precede you ripple and stir the sands at my feet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Wants of Man by John Quincy Adams.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Susan Lamar. The Wants of Man. Man wants but little here below, nor wants that little long. 'Tis not with me exactly so, but 'tis so in the song. My wants are many, and if told, would muster many a score. And were each wish a mint of gold, I still should long for more. What first I want is daily bread, and canvas backs and wine, and all the realms of nature spread before me when I dine. 4 courses scarcely can provide my appetite to quail, with 4 choice cooks from France beside, to dress my dinner well. What next I want at princely cost is elegant attire, black sable furs for winter's frost, and silks for summer's fire, and cashmere shawls and Brussels lace my bosom's front to deck, and diamond rings my hands to grace, and rubies for my neck. I want, who does not want, a wife, affectionate and fair, to solace all the woes of life, and all its joys to share, of temper sweet, of yielding will, of firm yet placid mind, with all my faults to love me still, with sentiment refined. And as time's car incessant runs, and fortune fills my store, I want of daughters and of sons from 8 to half a score. I want, alas, can mortal dare such bliss on earth to crave? That all the girls be chaste and fair, the boys all wise and brave. I want a warm and faithful friend to cheer the adverse hour, who ne'er to flatter will descend, nor bend the knee to power. A friend to chide me when I'm wrong, my inmost soul to see, and that my friendship prove as strong for him as his for me. I want the seals of power and place, the ensigns of command, charged by the people's unbought grace to rule my native land. Nor crown nor scepter would I ask, but from my country's will, by day, by night, to ply the task, her cup of bliss to fill. I want the voice of honest praise to follow me behind, and to be thought in future days the friend of humankind, that after ages as they rise exulting may proclaim, in choral union to the skies, their blessings on my name. These are the wants of mortal man, I cannot want them long, for life itself is but a span, and earthly bliss a song. My last great want, absorbing all, is, when beneath the sod, and summoned to my final call, the mercy of my God. John Quincy Adams, Washington, August 31st, 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Waving of the Corn by Sidney Lanier. Read for LibriVox.org by Kira Tamaki. Plowman, whose gnarly hand yet kindly wield thy plow to ring the solitary tree, with clover whose round plat reserved a field, in cool green radius twice my length, may be scanting the corn thy furrows else might yield. To pleasure august, bees fair thoughts, and me, that here come oft together daily, I, stretched prone in summer's mortal ecstasy, do stir with thanks to thee, as stirs this morn with waving of the corn. Unseen, the farmer's boy from round the hill whistles a snatch that seeks his sow unsought, and fills some time with tune, howbeit shrill. The cricket tells straight on his simple thought, nay, 'tis the cricket's way of being still. The peddler bee drones in, and gossips not. Far down the wood a one desiring dove times me the beating of the heart of love. And these be all the sounds that mix each morn with waving of the corn. From here to where the louder passions dwell, green leagues of hilly separation roll. Trade ends where yon far clover ridges swell, yet terrible towns ne'er claim the trembling soul, that craftless all to buy or hoard or sell, from out your deadly complex quarrels stole, to company with large amiable trees, suck honey summer with unjealous bees, and take time's strokes as softly as this morn takes waving of the corn. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Witch by Mary Coleridge. This is a LibriVox.org recording read by Kathleen Bond. I have walked a great while over the snow, and I am not tall or strong. My clothes are wet, and my teeth are set, and the way was hard and long. I have wandered over the fruitful earth, but I never came here before. Oh, lift me over the threshold, and let me in at the door. The cutting wind is a cruel foe, I dare not stand in the blast. My hands are stone, and my voice a groan, and the worst of death is past. I am but a little maiden still, my little white feet are sore. Oh, lift me over the threshold, and let me in at the door. Her voice was the voice that women have who plead for their heart's desire. She came, and the quivering flame sank and died in the fire. It never was lit again on my hearth since I hurried across the floor to lift her over the threshold and let her in at the door. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
11th Epistle, the Sulpicia to Corinthus by Sulpicia, recorded for LibriVox.org by M. Lee. Do you feel an affectionate concern, Corinthus, for your girl whose weary frame is now racked by fever? Ah, I cannot wish to overcome this painful illness, unless I think you wish it too. For what were I the better for recovering from illness, if you can bear my sufferings with easy mind? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.